Hey, this is Matthew Ricks, and today on the Music Business Newsletter, we have an email from an aspiring songwriter. But before we dive into that email, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to like and subscribe to this channel. Please share it with your friends in the music industry. And if you have a question on the music industry that you'd like for me to answer, just go to MatthewRicks.com, click Submit Your Question, give me as many details as possible, and we'll answer it here on the channel. But now for the email. She says, "Hi, Matthew. I'm writing from London, the British. And truthfully, I feel a bit ridiculous even sending this, but I've hit a point where I really need some honest guidance. Let's try to help you out here." She says, "My name is Sarah, and I'm 31 years old, and absolutely nothing about my background screams future Nashville songwriter. I've spent most of my 20s as a professional swimmer, training at ungodly hours, traveling constantly, living that very intense athlete lifestyle. I kind of know, not professional. My daughter is in travel and varsity softball. And even when it's raining, even when it's 30 degrees outside, you got to go out there and take your cuts. But a professional swimmer is a little bit different, and training at ungodly hours, traveling constantly, and living that very intense athlete lifestyle. Yeah, so you're just disciplined. You are very disciplined." She says, "When I retired, I ended up starting a fitness apparel company here in London, which is what I run full time now." She says, "Because of all of that, my entire online presence is swimming clips, old competition photos, gym content, and bits from my athletic clothing line." So I'm going to break this down for those who aren't getting this. So her entire online presence is her in a bathing suit, her in a pool, her in gym outfits, and since it's fitness athletic gear, fitness, what women would wear to the gym. She says it's all very fitness world and not even remotely music industry. She says, "But what hardly anyone on my Instagram or Facebook knows is that I've been quietly writing songs for years." Why aren't you broadcasting this? She says, "I mostly write Christian and country songs, and I'm drawn to the storytelling side of both genres. Recently, I felt this pull to start taking it seriously. You're getting older. You've done the swimming. You've probably traveled all over the world. I don't know what I don't know professional swimming. Like, are we talking Olympics? But if you are a professional, you've done a lot so far in 31 years of your life." She says she's drawn to the storytelling side of both genres of Christian and country, and recently she's felt this pull to start taking it seriously, which is where all the trouble starts, really. This is what she says. She says, "I've been trying to reach out to artists in Nashville just to see if there's any chance of pitching songs or at least starting conversations. I will tell you this right now for any of you aspiring artists. A few years back, the big thing was you'd hand artists demos. You'd give them a demo in an autograph line or a meet and greet line. You'd send it to them in the mail. They never listened to it. Never. I know of artists, and when I toured back in the day, but even recently, artists will give, I was at a music festival in August, and it was a rap festival. And rappers were handing their demo, their QR code card to artists and said, "Check out my music." And when I toured with artists, they would all whoever the newest guy on the tour was would get all the demos in his bunk where he slept. These days, they're kind of left in dressing rooms. They're kind of thrown away in the garbage can on the bus or, "Oh, sorry, forgot it." And the reason why they're doing that is they got to protect themselves. Because if they listen to your song and 3 months down the road, subconsciously, they write that song or they write that chord, you remember it, they don't. And you can take them to the cleaners for it. So generally across the board, artists don't listen to songwriters' demos. They don't look at your lyric sheets. They just don't. She says that she's reaching out to artists in Nashville just to see if there's any chance of pitching songs or at least starting a conversation. If you are hitting up artists in Nashville and your Instagram profile is nothing but you've worked hard for what you've done, but you in a swimsuit, you in your workout gear, some artists are going to look at this and think that it's fake. Others are going to see it as thirst trap. And others will talk to you, but they have no interest in hearing your songs because of what you're putting out there. Is it fair? No. The guys are stupid. It's just the way it is. She says, I'm not expecting instant success. I'm not delusional about how competitive it is. And I know Nashville is very much a relationship-driven town. Absolutely. It absolutely is. It's a small town, and it is about who you know, not what you know or what you can do. It's about people pulling favors for you, people liking you and calling you into a meeting, calling you into a songwriter circle. And people move to Nashville to try to get in those circles, and they fail every single day, unfortunately. She says, but I can't help noticing how people react to me online. You're posting pictures of you in a swimsuit. And because you're a professional athlete, and you have a athletic fitness apparel company, you probably are in outstanding shape. You've worked your entire life to get there. And that's what guys are going to see. And if you approach a female artist, they're going to see that as well. She goes, whenever I message an artist with a demo or a voice note, I get absolutely nothing back, just silence. Yep, that's going to happen. Especially if you're singing in a voice note on an Instagram DM, or you're setting them just lyrics for them to read, you're gonna get silence. And the smart artist will open it, see what it's about, and immediately click off within seconds, 2, 3, 4 seconds. She goes, but some of these exact same artists, same people, same accounts will happily comment on my old swimming photos. Huh. You don't say. She goes, they'll happily comment on my old swimming photos or respond to my stories when I post gym content. It's maddening. You don't say. She goes, it makes me feel like they take one look at my profile and think, oh, she's a fitness girl, not a songwriter. They're not even probably thinking you're a fitness girl, but they definitely are not thinking you're a songwriter. Definitely. If everything on your profile is swimming pictures, fitness pictures, but then you want an artist to see through the swimming competition pictures and think of you as an amazing songwriter, it ain't going to happen. They might say, love to get together with you and talk about your songwriting. I'm coming to tour in London. Let's go to a pub at 1 a.m. She says, once they decide that, the conversation never goes anywhere. Honestly, think of you as a clout chaser. And then, if you're hitting up married guys, they're not going to, the respectable married guys, they're not even going to engage with you because they're going to protect their marriage. They're going to protect their story, especially if you're in Christian music. This is not a good look. And she says, she continues. She goes, I can't blame them entirely for looking at her profile and not taking her serious. She goes, my account doesn't resemble a songwriter's page in the slightest. Okay, so what's the problem? You realize this. Why are you emailing me? Because you want me to tell you like, oh yeah, it's fine. Post the basically thirst traps and just keep slugging away, sending your songs to people. I'm not even going to mention names because there would be some artists who probably would listen to your demos based off of your Instagram page, but they're not going to go anywhere. You'll get an invite to a pub, but that's about it. She goes, I know first impressions matter, but I also don't want to erase the last decade of my life. just so I can rebrand myself overnight. She goes, so now I'm stuck wondering, do I need a completely separate Instagram just for music? Yes. And you can, put in your bio, like main account or, my other company account and tag it in there. And then on that, be like, oh, my Christian songwriting account. Is it fair? No, but guys are stupid. That's just the way it is. Okay. And then, if you start getting into, when I was an A&R, if an artist came to me and said, I met this girl on Instagram and she's a songwriter and we want to write with her. And I went to your Instagram page and I saw nothing but, the equivalent of thirst traps. I'm going to laugh that artist out of the office. Here's a rule of thumb when it comes to business. If you're married or in a relationship and you follow that account, if your wife or girl would kind of raise an eyebrow, being like, why are you following that account? It's probably not a good look as you trying to be taken serious as a songwriter. Once again, is it right? No. Is it fair? No. It's just the way it is. All right. Because these guys also, while they're ignoring you, they don't know if you're going to just strike up a conversation and then a couple of messages later be like, oh, well, here, go visit my page where you can pay me monthly for, they just don't know. Or they don't know, they don't know anything about you, but all they're seeing is basically the equivalent of thirst traps. And then you want to write Christian songs. It's not a good look. No, you need to definitely have two separate Instagram accounts. Reaching out to artists to try to get a co-write when you've had no track record, it doesn't really matter what's on your Instagram. It's not going to work. It's just, now it's not going to work over Instagram. She says, should I just try shifting my current one, even if it confuses people at first? No, I would start a separate clean and clear account. And the reason being is because, one, you've worked hard for what you've done, and all your followers are following you for a specific reason, not so you can start talking about songwriting. You'll lose a ton of followers. It'll crash your account. I would just start a new one. She goes on to ask, is it even realistic to get involved in Nashville songwriting scenes coming from across the Atlantic? It's a lot harder. It's going to be a lot more difficult for you because the delusion that most songwriters have is like, here's my song. Take it. Do what you want with it. It doesn't work that way. I mean, usually most songs get birthed out of songwriting circles, or you get together with somebody and write a song. It's not you just being like, here's my song, do what you want with it. So it is going to be a lot more difficult. What I would suggest if I was you is have a clean and clear account. No. If you were running for prime minister, what I would tell you to do is get a clean and clear account. Put some stuff up there that kind of resembles songwriting. Maybe you're playing a guitar in a song, a video. I would start trying to just have conversations with artists, people in the industry, try to pick their brain a little bit. Don't flirt. Don't let them think that there's any chance. Keep it very professional, because you're going to also weed out the guys who are just going to waste your time. But if you keep it professional and they try to flirt with you and you kind of like put the block up, some of those guys who don't have honorable intentions, they'll bounce from you very quickly. And I would just this is a slow process for you being in London. She says, how do I get artists to actually take me serious rather than just reacting to my old swimsuit content? Create a clear and clean account. Start building relationships, not asking for anything, not pitching songs, just getting their ideas. Because what you want is the invite of, well, I'd love to check out your stuff. That's what you want. You don't want to offer it. You want them to offer, they let them suggest it. But the other thing is, since you're in London, you could, and it's not going to be sexy and it's not going to pay the bills, but find some artists in London who you can give them the song and, put me on as publisher, give me a songwriting credit. You can change it if you need to, but it's still my song. and give it to them to use, get contracts, of course, get everything in writing, and hope that one of those artists pops. That is because well, why can't I do that in Nashville? Because you know these people, you can meet with them for coffee, you can go watch them perform. It's different than when you're sending it out on Instagram. It's different when it's just like this random account. And see, now what you're going to be running into is if you start a clean and clear account, is your account is going to be brand new. So it's going to look very suspicious. But you're kind of in a weird spot right now because you either do a brand new account with nothing and you got to build it, or swimsuit pictures and gym workout stuff and nothing about songwriting, or erase all that, have a profile that has a ton of followers, but now you post something and you got all these people going, what the crap is this? I was looking for new gym shoelaces or whatever that you sell. So those are your three options. My option would be start a clean and clear account, find artists in London you can meet with, maybe do songwriting sessions with. Is it going to be easy? No, but it's your best bet you have at this moment. She says, part of me feels utterly daft for even trying. Daft. Is that depressed? I don't speak British. Part of me feels utterly daft for even trying. A former swimmer from the UK hoping to write for country and Christian artists on the other side of the world. Sounds a little dramatic, because you're not really on the other side of the world. You're an 8-hour flight to right here in Nashville from London. And we have direct flights. They've advertised it all the time now. I mean, an option you could do is try to come to Nashville for a while, set up meetings ahead of time, get here and, and not even meetings to do songwriting, like meetings of like, can I take you out for coffee? I would love to pick your brain about X, Y, and Z. The former swimmer thing, that's your biggest problem is that you just don't have any connections. That's your biggest problem. And you have no, to say you're a songwriter, okay, well, show me some songs. I don't care how big they are. And it doesn't say that you've had any cuts on any artist of any size. She goes on to say, but another part of me feels like this is genuinely what I'm meant to be doing. Well, good. Then get a little uncomfortable and rebrand yourself. You can keep the whole thing. I mean, look, you got a company where you're making money. You're probably making a living off of it. You got people who've probably followed your career. You can't just act like it didn't exist. But right now, yeah, you got to run 2 separate accounts. You absolutely have to. She says, I just need a bit of clarity on how to present myself so I'm not dismissed before anyone even hears a song. Clean and clear account, slow approach, reaching out to people, gatekeep on keeping it professional. Possibly do come to Nashville, try to set up meetings with people. You probably, if you are a cool person and you're kind and you're not pushy and you're not trying to cram people songs down their throat, you can probably bump into some songwriters in Nashville, artists in Nashville who maybe they have a kid who wants to be a professional swimmer and, they'd love to talk to you about that and that can be your end. You're going to have a hard time getting songs cut without any traction in you being in London. It's just the way it is. Now, if you can get a co-write, if you can get a cut on an album, doesn't even have to be a single. I think it's easier to just be like, hey, I'm coming to Nashville, in February. I'll be there for 2 weeks. And you just book a bunch of things. And then you can get a publisher who will, start pitching your stuff. But right now, with you being in London and you having to have to start a brand new account to market yourself as a songwriter, you're going to have to market yourself as a songwriter the way you marketed your apparel line, the way you marketed yourself as an athlete. You're going to have that same discipline. But you've done it before, so you'll be able to do it. It's going to be a lot of uphill battles. I laughed when you're like, oh yeah, they ignore me, but they like my gym photos or my swimsuit pictures. Yep, that's the problem you're going to run into because they're not taking you serious. She says, thanks for taking the time to read this. All the best. Cheers, Sarah. Reach back out. Let us know how it's going with the rebrand. Do not erase your history. Be proud of what you've done. It seems like you achieved a lot as an athlete and you can't just erase that, but because of the content of what you wore and what you wear and what you sell, it's going to hurt you with Christian music. And country gets approached by a lot of women. But I mean, Christian does too, but country definitely does. And you have an uphill battle. But I believe you can do it because you just got to be disciplined like you were to get to the point where you became a professional swimmer. So thank you for the email. Very good. And if you have a question on the music industry that you'd like for me to answer, just go to MatthewRicks.com, click submit your question, give me as many details as possible, and we'll answer it here on the channel. And until next time, I will talk to you later.